Bonjour. I'm sorry I'm out today, guys. I have a doctor's appointment this morning. I will be back this afternoon. There were a couple things that I wanted to explain. The first is your speaking assessment for this chapter. So this is the one that says Speaking Assessment Unit 2. In this task, you will work with a random partner just like last time and have a short conversation. In this conversation, you will greet each other, ask how are you, and answer that question. Both of those things we did before. The only difference so far between this one and the last one is that this time I'm not requiring you to ask their name. Because we've been together for 2 months, most of you probably know most people's names. The two things that are new and different are find something that both you and your partner like to do, and then make an appointment or a date to do that thing at a certain time and on a certain day of the week. So you'll ask your partner, do you like to play soccer? And they might say no. And then they can ask, do you like to play volleyball? And you might say, yeah, I do like to play volleyball. And then you're going to find a day and a time that you can play volleyball together. So then you can be like, are you free on Thursday? And they're like, no, how about Tuesday? And you can go back and forth until you can agree on a day and a time. You don't actually have to do it at that day and time or at all, but you need to negotiate when you are going to hypothetically do this thing. Couple notes on that. There may be some things that we haven't done quite yet that you think of that you need to know, like how to negate, how you say you don't like something, or how to say at what time or when. Make a list of those things. We will go over them tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be kind of intense, just practicing the speaking part and working on things like that. So anything that comes up like that, make a note in your notebook and bring it back to school tomorrow. Then I've included the rubric that you're going to be graded on. There's 4 categories: exceeds expectations on the left, does not meet expectations on the right, and then in the middle, meets expectations is actually 2 different categories, strong and minimal. So if you want a 100%, your goal should be to get meets expectations strong in all 5 categories. If you get exceeds expectations, that will count as an extra credit. Sorry guys, I'm in the teacher's lounge. People come in sometimes. It happens. No big deal. So I'm looking at your language function. So that are you able to do the things in a consistent and comfortable manner? The text type, so are you using sentences versus just words? What communication strategies you're using? What happens when your partner doesn't understand what you're saying? How do you handle that? How do you negotiate that difference? Comprehensibility, so who can understand what you're saying? Is it only comprehensible by someone who is used to speaking with non-native speakers? Is it comprehensible to someone who's not used to speaking with non-native speakers? Is it comprehensible to no one at all? Where does it fall within that spectrum? And then finally, language control. Your grammatical accuracy, that you're using the right vocabulary and with a certain degree of fluency. Okay? It's not too scary, right? Again, anything that comes up that you need to know how to do but you don't think you know yet, write it down. We will go over it tomorrow. The speaking assessment will take place on Thursday. Also on Thursday, we will do a reading assessment, just like we did last time. So everybody will be working on their reading assessment, and I'll call 2 random people back to my desk at a time to do the speaking assessment together. And you're talking with your classmate. You are not talking to me. Okay? The other thing is the writing assessment. So this is the other sheet. It says Writing Assessment Unit 2 at the top. And at the very, very top, it has another note that we'll talk about in just a minute. So in this task, you will write a letter to your new pen pal. The only thing you know about your pen pal is that he or she speaks French and is about your same age. You need to introduce yourself. Ask your pen pal what their name is. Ask your pen pal ask how your pen pal is doing. Tell how old you are. Ask how old they are. Say 3 things that you like doing. Say 3 things that you do not like doing. And ask what they like to do. Are you actually sending these to a real person? No. Do we actually have real pen pals? No. But it's a good scenario that lets us practice a lot of the things that we've been working on. One note on the say 3 things that you do not like doing. Make a list of what those 3 things are, but we're going to talk about how to negate tomorrow. So we'll learn how to say I don't like blah 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 tomorrow. Make a note of what those things are and cool your jets. It'll be okay. Promise. This is something that needs to be written. You can either type it out on the computer or write it out by hand. It doesn't matter to me. You can use dictionaries, and wordreference.com is a dictionary. You cannot use translators. Google Translate is a translator. If I wanted to teach Google Translate how to translate, I would get a job with Google and I would get paid a lot better. I don't care how well Google does. I want to know how well you can do this. Okay? Similar as before, the speaking assessment, we have exceeds expectations, does not meet expectations, and then within meets expectations, we have strong and minimal. If you want 100%, shoot for getting strong meets expectations on everything. That means that if you get exceeds expectations, that can potentially get you some extra credit. So what we're grading on is, it still looks pretty similar to the last one. Language function, you're able to do the task at a consistent, comfortable level. Text type, the quantity and organization of the discourse. So you're using some simple sentences instead of fragments or individual words. The one thing that is different is impact, the clarity, organization, and depth, so that you are organizing your sentences in a clear and organized way. There's a logical order. For example, you're not asking what someone likes to do before you've even said hello. Yeah, come in. Comprehensibility. Who can understand this person's language? Just like before, and then language control. Your grammatical accuracy, appropriate vocabulary, yada, yada, yada. Am I looking for you to be perfect? No. There's a lot that we haven't learned yet. Don't worry about it. You are only responsible for what you already know. I will not penalize you for making a mistake that we haven't learned yet. You have the rest of the hour to work on either the writing assessment unit for this writing assessment or the speaking assessment or the homework choice. The writing assessment will be due on Thursday. And that should be all.